Welcome to the HVAC Jerks with your hosts, Rich, Kevin, and Joe. You can email these guys at theboys@thehvacjerks.com.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the HVAC Jerks. My name is Rich, and I'm here with Kevin and Joe, and we are your jerky hosts. If you don't know us yet, or you're an HVAC Jerks virgin, we're glad you stopped by to give us a shot. And if you like what you hear, we hope that you'll not only subscribe to our show, but please remember to give us a 5-star rating at the end, and that's important to us. So, Kevin, let's get started. What cliff are we jumping off today?
Good question. Well, as our first couple of shows were going, we were a little sporadic in where we were heading to. So I think we were talking about owners and employees, and we kept jumping on training and the lack thereof and the mentality. So we kind of got all over the place. So I think what we should try to do is let's focus on the different elements of the training. We'll start with maybe do the employee training end of it, and then we'll talk about the employer to employee training, educating customer, and how the service technicians on the end user talking to the homeowner and things of that nature. So this could be a 4-part segment. I think we have enough information for all 4 of these.
Yeah, so basically what we're trying to do is everybody goes on to these shows is to try to fix something or learn how to fix something. How about we start off with your company? See what you're doing right and doing wrong. What can you do to change it? So basically this is an informational thing or a checklist, so to speak, so we can help you guys become much more efficient, and instead of doing callbacks constantly, maybe to head in the right direction.
So we're going to do employee training from the employee's point of view then.
I would say that's a good place to start. Let's get this one out of the way, and then, this will obviously roll in. So our goal is to try to stay focused on that topic and not deviate too much, but we also don't want to bore anybody.
So we're not talking about any kind of farming today at all?
No.
Okay.
I see you took your pickle hat off.
Yeah.
We're back to that. But I did want to take a chance here to, while I have the mic, to Instagram followers out there. Love you guys. You're doing a great job getting new followers every day. Glasgow Clint, I want to say thank you for your comments and keep listening, brother. Appreciate it. And Trev Williams, thank you again. You guys have been, so far our top guys with responses. And if you have any topics or ideas that you like, guys, just don't hesitate to get on Instagram. Find us, the HVAC Jerks. You can email us too at theboys@thehvacjerks.com. So you want to start this off, get this party rolling. So.
All right,
Employee training as the employee. Where do you want to go with this?
Well, let's just start with the basics. Why does the employee need to be trained? I think we can start right off by saying that the employee wants to be properly trained so that he can confidently do his job.
Yeah, and
confidently and competently.
Of course. And first and foremost, as owners, first thing you should realize is he is a direct representative of your company. When he walks through the door, you're walking through the door. So it's important that he needs all the information he needs walking in. He should know how to interact with a customer. He should know the product that he's going in to try to remedy, or somewhere in that neighborhood, there should be a guideline for him to start in what I do when I get out of the truck. So this is basically kind of a process to do that, but in the same respect, teach your employee how to be confident. Because once I'm a true believer in confidence, because that gets you over hurdles. They have more ability when they're confident because they're not afraid to take chances. They're able to think more independently if they're confident, and more things will get handled because they feel good about doing their job.
So supportive system
Right.
from the employer. Also a good attitude by the employee. You need a good attitude. You have to have a guy with the right attitude going into the house, speaking confidently to the customer, speaking with confidence. No hesitation in what you're going to say, having a true understanding of the materials that you're working on, the theories behind the materials that you're working on. If you're working on gas furnaces or heat pumps, you don't want to lead the customer to believe in any way, form, or fashion that you don't know what you're talking about. So this takes some enormous amount of time on the employee, because instead of on your coffee break reading the Post, grab a manual and do a little read up, do a little study. You got to put the effort in as the employee. So that's a big thing. I used to do that a lot when I was doing my service. Guys would go read.
It's not the same as when you came up anymore.
I understand that, but now
It's
you got
different.
a cell phone. It's completely different. So you got a computer in your hand.
Right.
So
they actually have more availability than we
instead of
did.
looking up nudie pictures,
Right.
just use your phones, put it to work. You can download just about any manual out there in about 2 to 3 minutes, if not sooner.
Everything's in your phone.
Everything's in your palm, literally.
There's nothing worse than talking to a customer and trying to explain something and then finding out that the customer knows more about it than you do.
Google's
That
a
is
dangerous thing.
bad.
The internet can be dangerous
Right.
as an employee. So
Exactly.
you definitely got to walk in with confidence. You got to know what you're talking about. But having the right attitude, wanting to learn as an employee, you want to be the best you can be, right? Be the best you. So you have to want it, and don't rely on your employer to do it, right? If your employer chooses not to do it, still do you, still do what you need to do to be better. And if,
It's your career.
it's your career. Yeah, exactly. You got to walk out of there at the end of the day feeling confident that you're, doing the right thing for you. If you got a guy like we talked about in the last podcasts, the company I worked for was, hey, we got insurance. We don't care about training. Just get
Right.
out there and figure
Right.
it out, So
Still your
if you're
career.
working for that guy, do what you got to do, be the best you can. And if they don't like it, they fire you or tell you, hey, you got to produce more, get out of here. You know what? You're doing the right thing. So be the best you can be. Go out there, learn, always look to educate, always look to better yourself constantly.
With all the hours we work in this industry too, I mean, especially in heating season, when sometimes you're working 7 days a week or 12 or 15 hours a day, there's enough stress as it is between going to the customer's house or driving through the snow or, working late hours and, whatever issues you get at home and all that. You don't need the extra stress of not knowing exactly what you're doing or having the confidence to talk to the customer about it. I mean, this is going to help you reduce your stress just on your normal day-to-day job.
And as far as being an employer is concerned, I think this is a big process for an employer to have an onboarding policy. So when they do bring new people on, yes, it's incumbent on the employee to do the initial, have his own initiative. And sorry for rambling. And I may be using a lot of terms that I'll be repeating because I think that the employee has a responsibility to ask for training, to ask for something he doesn't know. And most importantly, take ownership. Take ownership of your job. Take ownership of what's being handed to you as a responsibility. And be a man or a woman, whoever takes that job on, it's yours. You own it.
Step up.
Yeah. And if you don't have the ability or know-how, don't wait till you get into more trouble. Ask before it goes into disaster. Because at that point, learning and training goes out the window. It's just damage control. Right. So it's indicative as an employee to not be shy. Don't be bashful. Don't think your boss is going to think less of you because you're asking for help. Granted, you don't want to ask help, every job you go on. You got to take the initiative, like Kevin said. You got some free time, read something. Look on the internet. You have much more available tools today than we did years ago, where we had manuals, or hopefully we can even find it in the basements when we got there.
Yeah.
But today it's not an issue anymore because everything, like Kevin said before, is available on the internet.
Instantly.
Every manufacturer's out there has got a web program that you can go on.
No excuses.
Yeah, you don't have to sign in. Everything's available for you because they don't want the trouble either. But in essence, the employee must take responsibility and show the initiative that he wants to do better, not only for him, but for the company. And then at the end of the day, the result will be not only will you be more confident, not only will you get your job done better, but you start building trust between you and your employer. And you also have a basis or groundwork to say, listen, I think I'm more valuable. Then you can go to bat for more money.
It's always going to build value in yourself.
Right.
The better you get, the more thorough you are.
Exactly.
The better rapport that you have with your customers. At the end of the day, when you go in and say, hey, man, I haven't gotten a raise in a year and a half. I think I'm due for $2, or I want, some
Yeah,
more,
don't ever underestimate yourself. And I know this may cause some turmoil out there because we're not looking to start a revolution saying, all you
for raises.
employees go out and ask for raises. You got to earn them.
We're all
But
worth
that's
more
true.
money.
You
right?
got to earn them. I used to say to my bosses, listen, you're asking me to achieve these sales. When I get here, you better have the keys to the jet ready because I'm coming.
Right.
And that's how I used to do it. And they were all happy to say, yes, come and get them. As soon as you hit these numbers,
Well, that's
come
great
get
to
them.
see that motivation, but to get the reward at the end is
You got to get the result.
because they'll hold the carrot in front of you.
Yeah, you got to get the result.
Be careful of that, but at the same time, look, if that guy is not going to take care of you, does not, own up to his end of the deal as an employer. You have that information and all that's in your tool belt now. That's yours for good. You're not they can't take that information.
Exactly.
Knowledge is power.
Exactly.
And
It's
with
all
that
confidence.
comes money.
What confidence?
Look, if you want to make good money in this industry, which you can make good money in this industry as a worker, the guy that's out in the streets dealing with the customers, climbing in the attics, fixing the ACs, fixing the heats, the no heat calls, all of that stuff is all, yes, it's hard work, it's dirty work. You got to turn the wrenches, you go home beat up. But at the end of the day, there's pride.
Absolutely.
And there's a great opportunity to make good money.
Probably 75% of how much you make is all up to you. How much
Exactly.
you learn and how you handle yourself.
Presentation.
And
You have to
Don't
never
forget
stop
presentation.
improving. You never have to stop
Come
improving.
in clean. You think about. I always put myself in the position of the customer. How do I see myself as I walk in the door? How do I hear myself speaking to a customer? Do I feel intimidated? Is he too loud? Am I using words that they don't understand?
Is the guy going to lock up all his drawers and
Right. I mean,
cabinets?
is he hiding his wife's panties? Or his telephone answering machine or
Yeah.
something? You never know. But as time goes, as a service technician, you should. And hopefully we'll learn, and they have classes for this too. I'm sure out there's psychology classes, but knowing people's body language, and you got to go in like Sherlock Holmes sometimes, and not just looking for problems, but just picking up on how people are acting. If
Be
they're
adaptable,
not comfortable
sure.
with you in the room.
There's an old saying in the business. It's called "listen with your eyes,"
Yeah,
and that's what it is. You're going out there and you're listening.
Don't trump them with conversation. Listen to what they say.
Exactly.
Take everything with a grain of salt because they're not always telling you the truth. She might tell you she's single, but she's married.
Where are you going to put that tool?
And be careful of the questions. You don't want to be too intrusive. You have to. There's always a line you can't cross, and you got to be aware of that. And your conversation will dictate where that line is.
Man, I go to work to make money.
Yeah.
And I can say that probably 99.9% of the guys out there that are in this business are looking to make a paycheck.
Right.
So you want to get better, don't rely on anybody else to do it for you. It's not a magic wand. Your employer is not obligated to do it. They want you to be better. They probably have a lot on their plate, and we'll talk about the employer angle of this.
Yeah.
But don't wait for people to do things for you. Take the bull by the horns. Take this thing down to the ground, tie it up, throw it over your back, and go out there and kick some ass. Right. Don't wait for anybody to do anything for you. This world is yours for the taking.
I think that one of the things you said, we're all here to make money, and that's true. But I think a lot of guys fall into the trap of just coming to work every day and doing as little as they can do to get by or whatever. And
clock watching.
If you're going to get up out of bed and go to work, why not make the most of it? You said it last week. If you be the best you can be.
Yeah, no matter what the job is.
Yeah, when you're making 50 cents or $50 an hour or whatever.
Yeah, you signed up for it.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, why not make as much as you can?
I was in that mode when I was a young guy, man. I was 16, 17, 18 years old, and I was, I was working, but I was looking at the clock, and man, I just want this day to be over, and I just want to get through this, and this sucks, and I don't want to do it anymore. And then it clicked. I think I was like probably 17. Man, I was making money. Once that clicked, and I'm like, hey, man,
and here's one of the cardinal sins that most employees do. They keep track and worry about what other employees do. Why does Johnny get to do this? What's he doing?
Live in your own world.
Right. If you got a helper or a guy who works with you as an employee, that you're in a team, make the best of that situation. Make you both feed off each other and become better, become as a one. It's indicative that you don't worry about anybody else's progress. If you don't like what you're seeing is going on and you feel you're working harder, then pull that boss in individually. Go talk to your supervisor and say, what do I need to do to get better? I see that so-and-so has moved up. I feel I'm working just as hard as he is. If I'm not, please let me know where I'm missing. Don't take somebody else's movement or advancement to heart to say that, they picked me over him and I work twice as hard. You don't have to go. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, people will notice. They'll see the difference. They'll see your attitude and dictate what happens from there.
To take that angle just a little bit to the side, as far as training goes, if you're able to learn your craft as good as you can and be able to explain it and train your helpers, that's going to make you that much more valuable too. So it's not just you; it's how much you can put on.
Well, think about
train the next
to
guy.
your point. Think about when you were a helper. Did you want something from the guy you were working with?
I just wanted to run away back then because he was a terrorist.
He was a monster, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to be that same monster, or do you want the guy to look up to you and say, yeah, this guy's looking to help me. Let me do the best I can for him. So it's up to you. I mean, it's up to you how you handle your helper.
One of the most frustrating things as a helper is standing next to the guy who's doing the main technician or whatever, and that guy is not telling you what's going on. He won't explain to you what the blue wire.
It's hard to be in the field. Two things. Well, one is I work with guys all the time that don't know what they're doing, and I'm training them. I own my own company, so I have young guys that don't know, their elbow from their butthole. But at the end of the day, it's hard when you're busy to take that time to sit and explain it and say, okay, well, let's go through it. And
right,
we don't
you can't do it every single time.
You can't do it every single time. So and it's hard for those young guys to retain anything when you're doing it once a day. But it's also, you were saying, listen with your eyes. You got to learn with your eyes. You got to watch what that guy's doing. Pay attention
Take
to
notes.
the sequences.
Exactly.
Yeah, write notes. Take a notepad. Don't think that you look silly or I look like a fool because I'm writing. No, who gives a shit?
Yeah, in the van, we used to keep notes and saying, what did I do with that last job with the same burner?
Oh,
Let me check X, Y, and Z. Same way.
A marble notebook, carry it around. They make fun of you, whatever. But at the end of the day, you got everything in front of you. You'll be the hero. You'll be the guy that has all the answers whenever needed. You'll have everything written down.
I'm talking more about the technician who, not that you only do it once in a while, so you don't go through every explanation of every little detail you're doing.
The guy that just outright doesn't give a shit about.
I'm talking about the guy who wants to hold all the knowledge himself and doesn't want to let anybody else have it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, he's just afraid of his own job.
I'm going to date myself here, and I'm sure that some of you grayer folks out there will relate.
Duty.
Yeah.
You're going back to before the time of cars?
Yeah, in the old days when your boss was repairing something, they'd send you for a tool so that you didn't see what they were doing.
Right.
So that you wouldn't learn.
The old trick.
So, right. So this
give me a coffee.
we're looking at the exact opposite. Go down and get a pair of pliers. Go down and get a screwdriver. And I used to say, well, why can't I just come up with a whole bucket of tools? It's so much easier. Less trips. He goes, do what I tell you. So it was all a process.
They just think you're going to take their job.
Today we want the exact opposite. We want the ownership. We want the responsibility.
Well, we need it because we're lacking. We're lacking employees.
Right, and the jobs need to get done. So it's no longer you can only handle one job a day or two jobs a day.
And in reality, things are changing so fast. You're never going to learn it all anyway.
You're never going to learn it all. There's so much in the field training, constantly in the field. I don't care how many classes you take, and you're always learning something new.
And if you feel your job is mundane, that you're doing the same thing day in and day out, then become a master at what you do. In martial arts, there's a saying, you can always learn from a white belt. And that means that you become a master when you master the basics. It's not necessarily you get to the highest rank and you're a black belt, but you still have to master the basics in order to climb that ladder. So if you're doing the same mundane things, become so proficient at it, you're not going to even take tools out you don't need anymore because you're going to know exactly what to do.
Your tool bag gets cut in half.
Exactly.
You go in with a 6 and 1 and a wrench.
Exactly.
You're never going to pass yourself off as a Chinese philosopher. That's just not going to happen. Forget it.
Chinese man said,
stands on toilet, he's high on pot.
Yeah. So a man who goes to bed with itchy coolie wakes up with smelly finger.
Sick man.
All right, now we're going.
So I wanted
back
to go
out of the gutter.
I was going to go back to what Joe was just saying about focusing on you and not the other guy, and not just on the workload. We're all out there working, right? So you got guys who are side by side. So at the end of the day, you're on the team, right? So we're all working together. We're all trying to help one another. So do the best you can to be a team player, help the team, right? You guys are there to make money for the company, not necessarily your boss. Don't worry about what your boss is doing if he's going on vacation. Don't worry about what the secretary's doing. Don't worry about what your manager's doing. So-and-so took off today. So-and-so did this. This one called in sick. That's none of your business.
Especially because you don't know the whole story anyway.
You don't know the whole story, and you're seeing it on the surface, and it doesn't pertain to you, so mind your own, right? You
makes you look bad.
You come in, you do your job, worry about the tasks that are put in front of you to do. Like you said, do the best you can at it.
Yeah, I'm gonna extrapolate on what you just said. I'm gonna break this down as simple as it gets. As an employee, you have to remember something. You start on Monday and you end on Friday. At Friday, you get your paycheck. You and your boss are square. He doesn't owe you a thing. You don't owe him a thing. The relationship starts again on Monday. So it's not your job to worry about where the boss is, whether he's playing golf, he's out with his girlfriend, taking his wife shopping. It doesn't matter. Your responsibility is to your job. It's your job and your job only. You're being paid to focus solely on that. So the less you concentrate on abstract things that have nothing to do with your life other than what you were hired to do, the better off you are and the less stress you'll have.
It's your package. You agreed to your package.
Exactly.
Right? So you shook a hand and said, I'll accept this rate of pay. I understand the rules of rules of engagement. This is what my expectations are. And not every boss gives the expectations laid out perfectly, right? So there's maybe some gray areas.
But we'll touch on that on the employer side of this.
You'll refine that as time goes, as you work for somebody and learn personalities and learn what is demanded of you and what is expected of you. But trust me, if you're doing the right thing, a boss is paying attention.
Exactly.
You need the time off. He's not going to question it. Look, if I'm not saying that all bosses are equal. You get some real douches out there.
Yeah, there's no question. And we've all worked for them.
Yep. We've all worked for them.
And mainly they're the reasons why we all went on our own, right?
I chased one of them with a hammer.
So there you go.
He locked himself in the car so I didn't kill him. So we've all had those guys. And, I don't want to work for those guys. And I also don't want to be that guy that the guys work for.
Right. Certainly don't emulate somebody you've hated. You don't want to be that guy. There's no point.
At all. So do the best you can, and trust me, man, you will. And this, again, we're talking money again. Just because you work somewhere for a year doesn't mean you're guaranteed a paycheck or an additional hourly increase.
We used to have this problem with bonuses at the end of the year, Christmas bonus. Everybody has an expectation they're going to receive something. Some bosses are more generous than others. But at the end of the day, they really, truly don't owe us anything. Our bosses or your bosses
Is
don't
that what you came home and told your wife?
Yeah, and you know what? There was sometimes where
left the check on the dashboard.
Exactly. But the bottom line is that you can't be sour grapes. Yes, it's a gesture. It's a gesture of good faith, and I think employers should do that if they can. But sometimes companies are so tight. There was recession days where I remember when. I had a lot of trouble in the past and during the recession where I couldn't give bonus money. It was either keep the lights on.
You're talking
or
about
bonuses.
the Depression back in the 30s?
Yeah, back in the Depression, exactly. So unfortunately, I went through a couple since then. But it's indicative that as long as you get paid every week, you're doing your thing, you're looking to improve yourself every single time you go to work, and that should be your focus. Get better. And eventually, if you're not happy, you have the ability to go start your own thing and certainly know your value. Because if you don't think you're worth anything, and I tell my children the same thing, if you don't think you're worth something or you're afraid to ask, then you're never going to get it.
Perception.
You have to be confident in your ability, what your value is to that company, and don't be afraid to say it. Don't be afraid to go out there and do it. But it's just not asking for money. You got to demonstrate your responsibility and your ownership.
As a service technician in HVAC world, it might be, in our area, they say ballpark, a man in a truck should generate around $200,000. Total gross.
Right. Yeah.
All right, that covers your truck, your hours, it covers the labor, there's profit for the company, right? So that's minimum. Guy that's doing really good is doing 250, 275. Guy's out there hustling, he's moving a lot of product, he's getting those boiler sales, those hot air furnaces, the heat pumps, the AC units. So, keep that in mind. There's a math to this. So, you're out there, if you're just going in and doing 2 or 3 AC services a day, at $180 or $49.95, and you're not selling a contactor or and I'm not getting into high pressure sales, but
but there's stuff you can. There's always something.
If you're observant and look, maybe there's a thermostat that needs to be upgraded. So these things all add value to what you're doing, and it helps the company. It helps you. And definitely, if it's presented correctly, will make your customer feel really good about you being there and walking away going, man, I got a nice new thermostat, my Wi-Fi's connected, my AC's working, or my heat pump's on great, I got a new UV light in there, whatever the case may be. But, that's going to make you the better technician. And if your boss doesn't recognize that over a period of time, then maybe you're working for the wrong guy.
In order to do that, though, you need to know what's out there. You need to know what a UV light does and where
information,
with the right, you need the right training.
Looking at nudie pictures.
Get
off Instagram.
And also
only to look at our Instagram. You can look at our Instagram during your lunch, the Jerks. HVAC Jerks. But nobody else's Instagram. When you're working, I want you reading books and manuals. You got to do it. Got to make yourselves better. Trust me, we're hurting for people. If you guys, you young guys, if you take this opportunity to better yourselves now, trust me, you will be sitting pretty in the next 10 to 15 years. You will have a nice fat paycheck. You'll have a nice clean truck. You'll be working for a good company. We need guys. The industry's dead.
Yeah, the average age of an HVAC person is in the 50s now, 53, 54.
Yeah.
So
4 to 1, 15 years ago in the Hudson Valley, 4 to 1 were retiring to coming into this industry. That's absolutely horrible. The baby boomers were leaving, and 1 person for every 4 was replacing.
Oh, by the way,
that's horrible.
The other no-no,
we're feeling it now.
The other no-no as an employee, never count your boss's money. You don't know what's behind what he does. You have no idea his bills and risks that he puts out there every single day. Worry about yourself. Worry about what you're supposed to be paid, and that's it. If your boss shows up with a Cadillac, if your boss shows up with an Escalade, if your boss shows up with a Lamborghini, it's none of your business. As long as you're getting paid, don't count his money.
If he shows up now, you go.
Be happy that he's showing up. Yeah, be happy that he's showing up and your company is successful. That guarantees you have work and feeding your family.
Yes.
There's one point I want to go back on. I want to step back 10 minutes or so here. And by being better trained at what you do and having the answers that you need, you're going to get less hurry-ups from the dispatcher in the
Absolutely.
office. That's frustrating to a technician when he's in the basement or whatever, and somebody's calling him every 10 minutes saying, when are you going to be out of there? I got calls on the board.
Right. Well, that's just the nature of the beast, the hurry.
That is the business.
It is, but
it is, especially when we're dealing. Well,
we're going to talk. We're going to talk to that in the employer section of this. To what that'll come under burning out your guys.
I hear stories all the time though of from owners and managers that say, I sent the guy there. He was out there for 4 hours and he went through 4 transformers and all this other stuff because they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
Does he have the right tools?
Doesn't have the right tools. He doesn't know what tools to use because he was never trained on.
Okay. Well, that's shame on the employer.
The first 3 blue smoke things.
You can't be mad at that guy.
That's also another. That's also another owner thing. That are they sending the guys out unprepared?
Well, from the employee's point of view, I'm saying that you need to learn these things, whether you learn it on your own or
absolutely.
Whatever it takes. You got to know the basics.
I was sitting on the computer today doing a sit and learn little. I don't know what the hell you call them. What do you call it? Online training.
Webinar.
Right there you go. So. I mean, I spent 2 hours today doing webinars on stuff I already know, just so I can get the points
every
and
day.
the credit.
Make sure you're current.
Yeah, so I'm current, and so that's what I did as the boss today.
Right.
I didn't get to sit back and
go read No Ducks in the Attic.
Go read a book.
I still go to seminars. I still see webinars. I still do online training. I still do all that, and I'm in my 50s. I can never know enough because it's moving.
You're only in your 50s?
Yeah, I know. It looked fantastic.
It's the hair.
By the way, you guys don't be jealous about the hair.
It's the hair. Got a helmet.
So, as an employee, first and foremost, take responsibility, take ownership. It's up to you.
Look for it.
Yeah, don't rely on somebody else to do your job. Kevin made that point earlier. This is your responsibility. You're getting paid. It is up to you to be the professional. It doesn't matter how you get there, just get there.
Take the time to look for trainings. And I will, there's some new product stuff out there. Your sales reps will come into your supply houses and say, we got this great new heat pump or an air handler or whatever, and there's some bells and whistles to it. Look, an air handler is an air handler. This guy's not doing a tear down. He's not doing meter work with it.
Yeah, but I'm going to argue that point because.
You can argue it.
I'll tell you why. No. My experience is this.
So let me finish my point.
No, I don't want you to tell.
I know you don't because I'm right. So, I'm going to say
I'm going to need a cage here
soon. These are not, highly educational in the respect of troubleshooting and repair. These are promoting new product, yes.
A lot of times pitches.
It's an excuse to have a jelly donut, slice of pizza, and only work a half a day. So employees enjoy them. They look forward to them, but employers frown upon them because they don't walk away.
Employees like it because it's a way to hide.
I paid you for half a day.
Right.
You sat in the supply house.
And I get that. That product overview or product presentation shouldn't be.
I'm not saying don't do them. I'm just saying they're not
what I was going to say
as real education.
What I was going to say, as an employee, if somebody comes in, a salesperson or something with a new product, don't be afraid to ask the guy for literature, the technical support. It doesn't matter whether your company does it or not, or that the company you're working with does it or not. It doesn't hurt you to learn about that product.
You might
it may come down the line.
Your competitor could be putting it in.
And even what I was going to make, even if you're not going to sell it, even if your company doesn't sell that brand or whatever, you're probably going to come across it in the future in the field.
Absolutely,
so you should know something about it.
It's just a matter of time. So I mean, look, man, guys, keep doing what you're doing. You guys are hustling. I'm on Instagram. I'm looking at you guys. I see the pictures you're putting up. That's good quality stuff. Don't be afraid to put your stuff out there, guys. Anybody, even the young guys, the new guys. You guys don't be afraid to put your stuff out there. Older guys, take it easy on the new guys. They're learning. Don't tear apart
Take it easy on the new guys.
Them.
Beat the new guys.
We don't need to scare anybody away
here's
from
a thought. They may end up making your job. Yeah, they may end up making your job easier.
You know what I mean? We're looking for good people, and they're making the efforts. Let's embrace them, and let's help them. Let's educate them, and let's make this industry awesome. It is awesome, but we can make it that much better.
You chose this industry, whether you chose it or not, you're here, so you might as well make the best of it.
So, it's hard work, it's dirty, our wives don't see us for days on end, it's all of that good stuff, but at the end of the day, there's self-satisfaction. It takes a certain breed, to work in this industry.
That's true.
We're the masters of a lot of trades. We're not just, pulling wires, we're not just snaking drains. We need to know carpentry, electric, there's so much that we need to know to be able to do this business.
So get trained.
Get trained. Do it. Take it with you. It's awesome. Jerks.
Believe it or not, it's time to wrap it up already. So we hope you enjoyed this week's show. And if you did, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and tell all your friends about us.
It's free.
And it is free.
Subscribe. It comes on your phone automatically.
If you can, give us a 5-star rating if you liked what you heard. And you can visit us at the HVACJerks.com. And if you have any questions or comments, or if you want an autographed picture of Joe's big head, then email us at theboys@thehvacjerks.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Do they make frames that big?
It's a 12 by 12. Zoom in.
Have a good week.
Hit me up on Instagram. Peace.
Take care.
Take it easy.
You guys are jerks.
Follow the HVAC Jerks on Facebook and Instagram.